All right, Kelly, we're live. What's going on?
When you clap like that before we start, I think of that video.
the
little
kid
girl.
video. Yeah, what was it like? She's like, how fast can you blink? She's like,
It's a little girl. She thinks because she's moving her mouth that her eyes are blinking too. So
that is
cute.
funny. Welcome to the Grand Rapids Business and Entertainment Podcast. I'm JNC and this is Kelly. And we are sponsored by Crunchy Munchies. Crunchy Munchies is an online delivery, organic meal prep service that basically brings you burritos for lunch and then any meal prep service that you would like for your entrepreneurship endeavors, or if you're busy, if you're basically busy all the time, busy mom,
dad,
yeah,
sister, mother, brother.
I kind of messed that up, but you get the point. Meal prep service company, and we deliver all organic. So
yummy.
very delicious stuff. Anyway, so we're here at Elevated once again, and we're continuing part 2 of last week, which we kind of left off at a kind of the climax part, which is
Hangman.
yeah, the hangman part. We were just talking about getting into this business with this lady that we had found. Her business was in the red, and she basically couldn't sustain her business after having invested over $150,000 and couldn't hold it up anymore. So that's where we left off last time. But since we're here at Elevator really quick, I wanted to show you guys what we have. We brought some new props on the table. So we have an old phone. If you guys want to go ahead and comment, if you're watching on our YouTube channel, or if you're listening, you can comment below on the comments, and we want to know how much you think this old antique phone is. It does still work. You want to try to call
It's
your mom?
not super antique. I mean, I used it as a kid.
I mean, it's definitely a rotary. It
I
still
always
works
forget. You have to go to the metal. Is that what it is?
Yeah, you have to go like hit the number and then dial
So it's
over.
like 5, 1,
Yep.
7.
That one always trips me out because I'm like, it doesn't go that far.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I actually did it.
So how much do you think the black antique phone is, and what are we giving away to somebody that comments correctly?
Well, the giveaway is for the person that guesses who these 4 are. It's an antique drawing, and they're a band. That's as much of a hint as you get. So you'll get a burrito delivered to your house here in the Grand Rapids area if you can guess who those 4 are in one of the comments below.
GNC knows now.
Yeah. At first I was like, who are they? But then we figured it out.
It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this plant here. This is not a real...
It's a chia pet is what it looks like.
Pet, yeah.
It's actually cool, though. I like that. It's not real.
No, it's definitely not real. It's like moss almost.
That's what GNC picked out.
I thought it was kind of cool, like a little ball of green.
Yeah.
Kind of
About
pointless.
that. It's cute. But then we have the plant back here from the Greenery by Ludimus, and they are awesome. I bought my first plant from the Greenery.
It looks good. It needs a little trimming.
It needs some help right now, but it looks healthy.
Yeah. So guess the price on the phone, see how much it is. If you guys guess the right price. So I'll give you 3 choices. The first price that it could be is $15. The second price is $32. The third price is $71. What do you think that phone is going for? A, B, or C?
In school, did you know that if you just pick C all the time, there's a 70% chance that on those recorded things where they just scan them and tell you
the
right
multiple
around.
choices.
Yeah, but like the electronic ones,
Yeah.
like when you take your ACT and stuff,
that it's C.
typically C. So I had a lot of C's in my ACT and
It's like,
SATs.
screw it. I don't need to think. That is funny. I always thought that, and I was like, I just can't trust that average.
It was pretty accurate.
Was
I mean,
it?
I still passed.
Hey, there you go. Cheers to that.
Right. So we got all the way up until we didn't even start the Pie Cafe story, but
No, we didn't.
we got there. I tootled my little way around and found the cafe. Called you.
So at this point, you and I were kind of trying to figure out what to do with ourselves, and you have found Pie Cafe on 44th Street, and I remember thinking, man, there's a juice spot in Granville. Like, that's really cool. That's pretty close. And I live in Grand Rapids, close. Like, we don't live too far. We live probably 7 miles away, maybe.
7 minutes to be exact.
7 minutes, 7 miles. And so she hits me up and she's like, hey, I found this juice spot. You should come check it out. We go check it out. It's white walls, kind of like what you see in here. Some decorating that we need to do in here, but white walls. And she had a red countertop and a juice, and then she had pies and an empty refrigerator with pies and meat pies. So
without the light on.
Without the light on, which I thought if you're gonna showcase meat pies, you gotta at least have the light on.
It looks cold and dark and dusty.
Yeah, it's just so weird. So, you know, we went in a few times, bought a few things, probably spent like $40 over the course of 3 weeks, just going in and out.
Probably more than we spent a lot of money.
Yeah, trying to support and see what's up. And just found out that she didn't have any specific vision, or her main thing was just to sell pies and juice and help people get healthy. But I'm like, but you're giving them pies. Not that pies are the worst thing, because I mean, they're good for the soul.
Yeah, well, that was her only thing. She just wanted to help people, but she couldn't ever define how she wanted to help them.
Yeah.
Which is a major business problem.
Yeah, and we found out that the way we found out she was in the red is because we offered to help her with marketing. Mm-hmm. And that was interesting because, you know, I thought, well, okay, most business owners that start up don't have a lot of money unless they've saved up, but she had a good job. Mm-hmm. And she was deep in the red. I mean, she was 150 or so in debt. We won't say name just to protect her, but
well, she had started the place up like she was a millionaire, because she wasn't, I mean, it was all state-of-the-art equipment. So our assumption walking in was this person has a lot of money.
True.
And she wasn't working, which typically if you're a business owner and you're not working in the business, then you have an investor or you have enough money to pay for somebody to work for you.
Yeah.
Without being in the red.
Yeah, so we thought, well, she might have some leverage. She just doesn't have time. Well, that wasn't the case. She didn't have any at all. And so then she rejected our first offer, and then we wrote up a different offer, and this one was more elaborate. I thought maybe she just needs help everywhere. So we helped put together something comprehensive, like help managing the place, profit sharing, and all this stuff, and like really take over and putting ourselves in the line.
Yeah, we were super into this. Like, we were really nervous for the meetings. We mentally prepared. We prepared on paper, and coming from two people that were completely not prepared for anything in life.
For real.
I felt like we did really good. Like, we had documents, we had stuff to back it up. Yeah,
we had a contract ready to roll, and, you know, she modified it a little bit, but once we were settled with the proposal, everything was good. Mm-hmm. So we got in almost the next day. She was just eager for help, and she was willing to let us. And man, tell you what, it was a hell of an experience.
It's wild.
It was crazy. I mean, think about going into a business, not knowing much about it, having to learn as quick as possible what the business entails. And granted, we were already selling juice and doing deliveries, but that was the precursor. So if you're just tuning into this podcast, you know, listen to the last one to learn about where we came from and kind of how this all got started, because we kind of talk about that in detail. Mm-hmm. But, you know, so once we got in there, it was just run like mad. Everything needed attention and immediate resolution right away.
But it was the weirdest flow. So we had gone around prior to meeting with her. We'd gone around to every business owner in the plaza and talked to them and asked them what the situation was. They were all almost more aware of the detriment her business was at more than she was.
Right.
And then
she wasn't really aware at all.
Well, she just didn't care.
Or didn't care.
And then she had employees, and we had the whole lowdown from her employees of like what was going on. So we had not made friends, but we had good rapport with all the employees, good rapport with everybody in the plaza. And then when we actually got in there, it was this weird flow, because I felt like we both didn't really know what to do, because there was everything to do,
right?
But there was no customers. So it was like nothing was urgent.
But everything was urgent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your first instinct was to go recruit customers in the plaza to just buy juice and smoothies because we had nothing else, and pies, whatever pies she had left in there.
Yeah, we were working with leftovers because we weren't on the cookie. We weren't trying to cook or
and then
bake.
we told her, we're like, well, how can we sell pies? You know, we have like 5 pies left. They're about to go bad. It was just a disaster. So she's like, well, I can come in and cook pies and make some pies, bake them. And so she did, you know, in the beginning. And then that got quickly tiring because she didn't have time or energy.
It's just silly to even talk about it. So, like, we would tell everybody when we were doing it, even when we told, or my parents at least, I was like, yeah, we're selling pies. They're like, pie? Yeah, pies. It just sounds...
Pies and juice.
Yeah, I mean, pies are great, but you got to make a dang good pie to just sell pie.
Yeah. So we got to selling pies. Well, you and I then went out to the plaza and started talking about the services that we wanted to offer and kind of the things that maybe people were looking for. And day 1, 2, and 3 were kind of tough. Mm-hmm. So we were focusing on just getting customers in and getting juice. And then we started coming up with menu item ideas that people can buy, you know. We're like, well, okay, cool. What can we make? And so we came up with quiche. Well, no, she'd been selling quiches, right?
Well, she goes, well, maybe the quiche would work, but we don't have somebody there early enough because I don't have a baker anymore because she left. But people from Express were coming over to buy quiche, so maybe that would work. And we're like, cool, let's try it.
Mm-hmm. So we get to making quiche in the morning.
Huge mistake. Not mistake, but...
Yeah, learning curve. Well, we learned to perfect the quiche after about 2 weeks.
Yeah. That was the beginning of no sleep because when you make quiche, then you have to wake up early to make the quiche.
Yeah,
so it's ready by breakfast time.
We were up at 5:30, 5 a.m. every day, which different today, but man.
Yeah, like adrenaline 5 a.m. is a little different from wake up on your own adrenaline. 5 a.m.
Well, it was waking up, adrenaline, go to the cafe, cook and bake, get that ready. And we only had like 1 or 2 items that we could sell and tell people about it. Like, hey, come and buy our quiche, you know, let's some sales.
Well, we were at least smart enough to coordinate where we had somebody at the cafe. So she wanted to run lean at the cafe, so she didn't have to pay so much. And we were down for that. But then we started coordinating somebody to come in the afternoons so that we could go out and market. And we knew that we were good at that. We were outgoing. So we left one person in the lull of the day, like 1 to 3.
Right.
And marketed.
Yeah, we went to settle for guerrilla marketing, which basically is finding tactful ways of going different places, creating affiliate programs for their customers to come and buy something if they get something from their store. I mean, we're coming up with all sorts of ideas. And what happened day 3? So the first 3 days were chaos.
The whole 18.
Absolute. Well, the whole 18, but it started to take form.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It wasn't like just chaos. It started to take form. And so I remember day 3, it was like a turning point. Right. So somebody came in and asked for lunch, I think it was.
Yeah, I believe so. It was just me and you there, right?
Yeah, it was just us two, and somebody came in for lunch. We were experimenting with a couple food items that I had created a year and a half ago where I was living. And this happened out of random because we were just cooking some goods. We were just kind of baking, doing some stuff. And then I think we mentioned that in the last podcast, right?
I don't think we talked. I mean, well, how it all came alive. I don't think it's bad to reiterate. I don't think we talked about the apples or anything.
I don't think we did. So, really quick backstory on that. The way we came up with what foods to start selling is because her and I, when we started hanging out, we found little snack and food items that were absolutely delicious. And we were making them organically with like good oils and absolutely delicious tasting, like good snacks. And we thought, this is really good stuff. We should sell this. And that was a year and a half ago. And that's where Crunchy Munchies came from. And so Crunchy Munchies was kind of like a random name. We thought, well, you know, if you think about Grand Rapids and Michigan and everything that's encompassing the the cannabis movement here, right? And the cannabis laws being passed, we thought this would be a great name for the city of Grand Rapids, and being able to have a little storefront that we can sell cool, delicious, healthy, organic items from. And so a year and a half later, this is sort of the manifestation coming about.
Somehow, I don't know, I think you were like, we'll write that down. It was when you made the Choco almonds.
Right. Yep.
And you're like, write that down. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, this whole time we're thinking, well, yeah, just write it down for at home so we can remake it. I don't think, like, we thought of the business, but then all recipes we were just writing down so we could remember to make them at home.
Yeah, so we wrote them down in case. You just never knew. I mean, we were doing something else back then. I was actually in my business of barbering, and you were kind of in your own network marketing company, right? Still working that. And if we thought we could join forces, we'd be lethal, just because I thought you had great network marketing skills or networking skills, and I was creative in things that I created. But, you know, putting that together became lethal eventually.
Right.
You know, but we didn't really know that we kind of had a hint. And so on the third day, back to that, we're sitting there and we're like, let's just come up with all the things that we created a year and a half ago, bring it to life, see if that works. And then somebody goes, do you have any food that you can make? And I thought, I don't think we do. I don't know. I mean, I can come up with something. And so I thought, I'll just make you a burrito. They're like, yeah, sure. So literally almost on instant, I thought about a burrito formula that I kind of been playing around with, not really anything official. And voila, literally just put together something, served it, loved it. The customer loved it. So much so that we actually stuck with that formula. And it's the formula that we use still today. And it's a very simple formula, but it is dynamic and it's fresh.
Was it a naked chicken or a naked cow?
It was a naked chicken. Yeah, it was a naked chicken.
Because we had gone out and bought.
No, I think it was a naked cow actually, because it was sort of a unique blend of, like, it was a hamburger burrito.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was a hamburger burrito in an open tortilla. So we called it the naked cow because it was open.
Right.
And it was beef. I remember that.
Right. And it had cheese, so it was like a cheeseburger.
Yeah. So it was basically a burger on a burrito, which is fantastic.
I don't know what made, because we bought the ingredients.
Yeah.
Because we knew, like, we had to get rid of pie. And she was kind of like, here's my card. Good luck. Don't blow all the money, but do what you got to do. So for some reason, we bought all that stuff. I don't know what made us buy tortillas and probably just thinking like tacos, like street tacos, I think is what.
I mean, we just kind of had an idea of what we're going to use. We were so winging it so hard.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, we knew at least the ingredients I knew the ingredients that I liked buying anyway, that were healthy. Like, so I've, I was a personal trainer and nutritionist for the things I did in the past. And I knew, and I've known ingredients that are healthy. I think most people shop and they don't understand what foods are healthy. They kind of just go with assumptions or what they've been told. Right. I look at the ingredients. I look at the makeup, how it breaks down in the body. I look at everything that ingredient can do for you. And then I curtail ingredients inside of a recipe so that it actually feels good in the body. So that's kind of where that came from, I believe. And you had some experience too, like cooking well and, well,
from
not
you.
Cooking well.
I mean, we had used the same staple ingredients for a year up to that.
Right.
And once you use the same staple ingredients, it's kind of just a no-brainer. But yeah, I don't know where we started to make some other stuff too that next morning, because at that point we were running out of like the cookies and people are buying the cookies. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to make cookies.
So you started making like rolled oats or something, like peanut butter energy bars. Yeah,
the energy bites, and then those vegan muffins. Which vegan muffins,
those were so good.
Those were really good.
They were not cheap. They were like $6 a muffin for like a tiny muffin.
Oh yeah,
but man, they were good. So
$6 to make.
For being a vegan recipe, they were dynamic.
It's vegan, gluten free, so good.
For real. I mean, I was very impressed. It had like blueberry, almonds. What else? Cashews.
Well, you made almond flour by grinding up the almonds.
Kind of, yeah.
So it wasn't just like you buy almond flour, like you
ground it up.
ground up.
Yeah,
the
this
almonds.
was serious work.
Yeah, and we're like putting on way more work than needed. We could have just went out and bought, like, could have started.
Yeah.
Chill. But
I wonder if we can post on the YouTube channel, on the video, the picture of the vegan muffin that you made. That'd be cool to put it up because we took cool pictures of it. So yeah, we had the muffin and we had a few things, and then now we had the naked cow, the naked chicken came from that, the poor man's burger,
burrito.
the burrito, which has been a fantastic hit on the market too. People love the burrito.
But by this point, we had menus. So we printed out menus. We laminated them.
By day 5, we had laminated menus. Yep. We had a full menu, actually.
Yeah, so people would come in and they could do it Bagger Dave style and like check off what they wanted. Tried to get the owner to come in and try the food, and she wouldn't. She didn't really care to try it. So then she throws us for a loop, and we weren't.
Wait, the owner at Pat Cafe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't stuck by any means, but she was kind of like there, but she wasn't, and we didn't want to overstep boundaries, so we were trying to be careful and not offend her by getting rid of pies.
Right.
So then she throws us one and says, I'm going to Nigeria to see my family.
Random.
Yeah,
Leaves the
random.
country.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 4 or 5 months in your startup. You're in the red, meaning you're upside down in your finances.
Right.
You have a brand new crew managing your place. You don't know these people at all, us.
Yeah.
And you're going out of the country for 10 days with no communication.
Yeah. And just leaving us.
Blows my mind.
She's like, she didn't really care if we fired. She goes, if you're going to hire somebody, don't hire them until I get back. Schedule a second interview.
Yeah, I'm like, well, what if we need help?
Yeah. Nope.
Like, we need help right now.
Well, we could have asked the lady that was getting paid under the table.
Yeah, which she wasn't very pleasant.
No.
She was kind of weird.
She hated my shoes.
Yeah, she wasn't very nice at all. So that was that too. So then we just figured out, all right, we'll just run this whole show. So fast forward a little bit, because what ended up happening by week 2. So get this, our goal was to match initially $80 a day. That was her average
Overhead.
sales.
Oh.
Yeah, she was making about $80 a day,
Right.
which was not covering anything. I mean, she was coming out of pocket thousands of dollars at the end of the month to cover everything.
Right.
And the restaurant business is not a very lean business.
Well, that being said, the day we walked in to offer her marketing, she was ready to close the doors the next day.
Yes, true.
So she
was
thought we
ready.
were a blessing because she was just going to take the bite of paying her lease for the next 3 years without opening her doors because it would cost her less and she could afford it.
Right.
So
Yeah, so she was ready to close doors literally almost the day before we walked in. She's like, it's either now or I'm gonna stick it out another year. We're like, well, perfect. Maybe if we come in, we can all stick it out one more year.
right.
But no, not the case. So what was it? 2 weeks in. So 2 weeks in, we went from matching $100 a day almost initially the first week, after putting up the first menu. We started doing about $200 a day average, sometimes 3, sometimes 2, $200 a day in sales and food, bringing in new customers, new referrals, and retaining the ones that we had already acquired, plus some of our old ones. So we were making progress. By week 3, the beginning of week 3, we saw huge progress happening because that's when we're like, all right, we're finally starting to move forward. Mm-hmm. And then we sat down with her and she's like, when we ran numbers, we're like, we're doing good. Things are looking great. And
We had a $400 day.
Yeah, we had a $400 day. And we were trying to show her this, like, look, sales are coming up. And she just seemed very discouraged or like very like not in tune. She just wasn't having it.
This is prior to the text, right?
Yeah. That's way prior to the text. This is 3 days prior to the close.
Right.
So week 3, we sit down, run through numbers. She's not so happy still for whatever reason. We're making tons of progress in day 3.
And cut
week
our
3.
grocery bill down by more than half.
Yeah. So we were minimizing our costs, which initially everything has high costs, and she didn't like that, but it is what it is. And so by week 3, we had triple sales consistently that week 3. And we were just finishing a huge close because we had some clients or customers that wanted to buy large packages of juice, and they were in the store and ready. I mean, they were ready to buy.
Oh, that was a whirlwind of a day too. Like
Yeah.
we were busy all day, or weren't busy all day, and then all of a sudden we got super busy right before because we were hosting classes on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
To educate.
So that was the first
community.
thing. Yeah, we had started hosting classes on Wednesdays. So that Wednesday, July 30th, week 3, we're in there, and I'm finishing up my health class. She storms in.
I'm gone.
You're not there because you're at your parents' retirement party, I think it was, right? Mm-hmm. And she just storms in and kicks everybody out and basically shuts doors. I mean, she's irate, completely irate.
Oh, let's be honest though. What happened prior to that?
So yes, right. can't be too right. So
I mean, but right.
well, what had happened was that a client came in, one of our customers came in asking for pies. Mm-hmm. She hadn't been available to make pies.
I mean, this is like the 14th or 15th person that came in and
Yeah.
asked for pies.
Yeah, so she was saying, like, if you need pies, let me know. Or, like, you're not here anyway. So, and we were just running lean on the food that we were making. We were making progress on our own thing. And to try to make pies in that situation was just kind of weird. And she wanted to keep going with them, whatever. So I decided no more pies. She's not here 12 hours of the day. We're here. We're running this whole thing. I take down the pie sign.
Well, people are coming in asking. You can't be like, there's a giant sign that says pies. You
Yeah.
can't be like, oh, sorry, we don't have pies. Well, like, you guys ran out for the day? No, like, we don't have pies.
We just don't have pies. So day 5, no pies, no owner. She's not making the pies. She can't. She's working. We're in there. We don't know how to, I don't know how to make pies. So I'm like, I'm taking the pie sign down.
I'm not trying to learn how to make pies to make a 30-cent profit.
Basically. So she sees that it's down, and that's when she lost it, which, I get it. But there wasn't clear communication. And not, obviously this is our side of the story, but it is what it is. I mean, it's...
Well, pies were really sentimental to her. That's why she started it up.
True.
But regardless, if you're not going to be there to hold your business up and you're going to leave the responsibility to other people, you can't false advertise.
Yeah. So in our defense, we took the pie sign down so we don't have customers coming in, because the pie customers were not buying anything else. And they kept leaving disappointed. So we're creating a bad rap by not having items in here. So let's just take it down for now. And then we can figure something out in the future.
Right.
Yeah. So she came in, lost it over the sign. I think she had other things in her mind that she was stressed and she was tired. Mm-hmm. But shut down the doors that day, kicked us all out, kicked everything out, took all our equipment and just... I had to bring it outside and just had to find a way. So I'm like,
literally
wow.
kicked you out. You
Literally
texted
kicked us
me.
out. Yeah, I'm like, we don't have work anymore.
You said we're out, we're done, or we're out. I don't know. It was very quick. I'm like, have my phone. I'm like, what?
You're like, shut up. No, we're not. I'm like, yeah,
shut
for real. You're like, you're joking with me. I'm like, no, for real.
Yeah. I turned to my mom. I go, shut the doors. She goes, what? And I was like, yeah, hold on. I go out to my car and then I call you and you're like, looking for my car keys in your car. And so not only did you get kicked out, not only are we not allowed back in, but you don't have a way to get home.
And I didn't have a way to get home because my keys were in your car. So luckily my last customer of the day in that day was a very good friend of mine that I've known for 15 years. And he came to check out the place and eat the food, which he loved it. And luckily I won him over with the food because I had to call him an hour later like, hey, man, you mind picking me up from work? I hadn't seen him in 5 years, I think, at this point. And then he buys a burrito and I'm calling him to come rescue me.
We'll take a little walk of shame.
Oh, that was such a trip. And so all that happened, whatever. We get out of there. And so then we're
I drove home. I leave the party. I drive home because I'm like, we just had spent 18 hours a day for 18 days straight.
Yeah.
In the cafe, not like working on the business, not like in the cafe 18 hours a day.
Like some serious hours, sleeping 3 and 4 hours a night. I mean, strung out on sleep.
Like my poor kids didn't see me. And we had repeat customers. So we had a crew that was in every morning. Mm-hmm. We had consistent customers, like people were depending on us for. We had a chiropractor come in. He's like, I'm going to be in on this Friday. Like we had guaranteed people coming through. So we had to strategize real quick.
Yeah. I mean, we had customers that were like, they were sure good customers that we had built up. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we're not going to lose these customers. We were determined. We came back the next day. She shut the doors. We came back the next day waiting for those customers at the door to show up.
With our letter. Yeah,
there was no... Well, we figured we came in there to help. Mm-hmm. She closed doors out of zero notice.
Right.
And voided... I mean, there was nothing in contract necessarily that was hurting us by her shutting the doors. I mean, it was a blessing in disguise overall. But, yeah, we're like, we're going to go and grab our customers.
Well, we knew going in. We're like... Well, and we explained to her, like, we're bringing our network to you. We have 5,000, 6,000 people in our network that we are blasting this stuff out to. Like, we have a camera, we have everything. Like, we're putting our integrity and everything on the line. And so we knew that, and we did that, and it was great. But yeah, we definitely stood in the parking lot and waited.
Mm-hmm. Probably for 3 days.
Yep. Every morning, 7 a.m. we were there.
We were there for 3 days, making sure we picked up the customers. So we picked up a few, and then our main customer, one of our main customers that buys juice from us every day, still does, actually. He's one of our favorites. He buys juice from us every day, and he helped sustain us in the beginning, kind of like gave us a little support, pushed us along, and we kept a couple of the other customers, not everybody. Yeah. And from there, we just kept going. And then we decided to do the impossible.
Dun, dun, dun. Right. We had no idea what we were going to do.
None.
We're like, well, there's only one way to do it. And
well, we kind of thought, let's find another storefront. Let's figure something out. Where else could we work from? And then I thought, well, this could be the chance to make an online store. Mm-hmm. Online. And so we came up with the online delivery method. All organic online delivery method. And that was the beginning of like something really cool.
That was the baby. That was birth. We did meet a really cool lady one of those days that we were standing outside of Pie Cafe waiting. Candace. Is it Candace from Candy Diem?
Yeah, I think it was Candace. Yeah.
I think that's her name.
Yeah. Candace, if you're listening to this, do not hate us, please.
I know, right?
We love you very much.
But we encountered, I mean, since the day we started at the cafe, everything really fell into place. Like, it was always this on fire thing. Mm-hmm. And then between Ed and all these people, we had so much support, and we put it out on Facebook, like, this is what happened. Mm-hmm. And people were like, do we do a food truck? We were trying to get people's input, like, what would you like to see? And we were meeting the coolest people. And then Candace came up with her sister, and it was kind of like one of those times where you're just super down and out, and you're cool, you're level-headed, but they're like, no, you gotta go, like, you gotta keep going with this. And and they weren't just saying that out of hype, like, they were actually really supportive. Yeah,
that was really cool to see the support. I mean, we got tons of support, and of course there were two sides of the story. I just I to us it was like we had an idea and a dream and a vision of what we wanted to do, and we just had no means. Like, I mean, I invested all my money in housing and investing in that, and you have kids, and we weren't working for a while. So,
I invested in the life.
Yeah, so I mean, we were kind of financially we didn't have any capital to invest in a place, and especially like a $70,000 build out of a kitchen, which is really what it takes, plus whatever deposits you need and monthly fees and whatever else. So it takes quite a bit to start a restaurant. I mean, it's somewhere about $80,000 to $120,000 to start a decent spot. And that's probably on the low end.
In the book I just started, he's talking about the restaurant industry It's just like keeps repeating statistics. He's like 70% don't make it.
Yeah.
And he's a restaurant owner, but yeah, I'm like, it's not the business to go into if you're trying to win off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, even one of our good friends, Jordan, he owns Genius Repair, or at least did. If you guys are familiar with that store, it's a great cell phone repair spot. But he told, he's a good friend of mine for years now, and I seen him come up in the entrepreneurship game, and he was like, yeah, just the numbers didn't make sense there either.
Yeah, he was really helpful with that, actually. He broke it down for us. And I think the cool part was we only focused on the good, which can really hurt you in life if you do.
Right.
But
well, we saw the downside, but
we were completely aware. But like once we processed it, then we only focused.
Almost grabbed yours.
It's gone. Then we only focused on the good. And it was just all positive. It was like, yeah, that happened, but who cares? Like,
Right.
Yeah, that happened. Who cares?
Yeah, so we had a lot of support and a lot of encouragement to continue forward because, I mean, granted, the way we walked in, it definitely, it was kind of on a whim, and we wanted to help, and she allowed it, so we thought we had a good opportunity. But getting out of there was a little discouraging, except that we had a different plan. I was determined to figure it out. Whatever it means. And so I know you were too. So then we came up with the online delivery store, and we're just like, screw it. We'll build a website. We'll build the infrastructure. We'll build out a new menu. We'll figure out an online delivery time frame that works. And how do you market that with no infrastructure?
We built up the hype too.
Yeah.
I mean, we had like an announcement, and we made some videos, and then we did it in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew that you were a website developer and
photographer and videographer
and
goodness.
What else do we do? Oh, we're dishwashers now.
Expert dishwashers. That's right.
Yeah, and my hands are so dry.
Well, what's really cool is that one of my best friends, Nate, that runs the transformation, what's it called? The Center for Transformation down on Madison Street.
Well, Justin runs the Center for Transformation.
He owns it. Him and Nate own it. So it's this big, huge building it's like $1 million building that they bought not with nonprofit money, and they've turned it into an immaculate building, beautiful design, renovated most of it, and they're running businesses out of there now. And Nate approached me. He thought it's really cool what we did there. And he's like, would you guys want to do that for our cafe here? Because they also have a nonprofit cafe.
Right.
So we thought, well, this is an amazing opportunity, like getting out of that and then being able to continue work over here while we're doing what we want. And boy, was that interesting.
Yeah, the whole time we continuously had people to bridge us. And that wasn't, we always had value to give back, because we had skill sets,
Right.
and still do, which is the ultimate form of networking. And
All right, so camera overheated there. Hopefully it doesn't overheat again.
so that's the ultimate form of collaboration,
Yeah.
and to be able to give our skill sets and people bridging those gaps every time was, if you don't believe in God, then a higher power, whatever that is for you. It was quite amazing. Still is like that.
Yeah, we just had so much favor with people, and I think with God too, and like we had such a positive outlook on the situation that things just ended up working out. So much so that connections started coming about and different ideas started coming in. We had so much support, and the really what made the difference, I think, was that carried us through were the burritos.
Yeah, for sure.
Those burritos were fantastic for everybody. Everybody loved them. And we started just going, we're like, let's just do the burritos. Mm-hmm. And we had a few items actually on there too.
Well, because Nate would be like, well, bring burritos to the cafe when you come. And then we were training their staff.
Right.
And that's what led us into being able to use their kitchen to cook. So that was cool.
Yeah, so we were able to piggyback off of Rice and Grind's kitchen, which was awesome. Thank you guys. That was fantastic. If you're watching this, Nate and Justin. But, then we ran out of that contract because we were doing the marketing. So that contract ran out, but then we continued to work with them. And,
still use their kitchen. But.
Right. So that's where we're at now, And that's the story in full, basically. Did we miss any details towards the end? I mean, there's a lot of details, but
We just kept getting gigs through Rise and Grind. So we did their social media. We trained their staff for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were going to do like a vegan menu. They're just not quite ready for it.
Yeah.
Our contract ended. Then we started to change our hours because we had to use the kitchen and coordinate with them. And got gigs with the NAACP.
Yep. So the NAACP reached out to us, and the Sierra Club, which they've been around for 100 years. That's really cool. They had the first, Aaron Mayer is the first black president for the Sierra Club. And so he came out and we did a media production for them and the NAACP about the Green New Deal, which that was really cool. Yeah. It's all about environmental injustice and solving the problems of pollution and climate change and all those things, and making sure that urban cities have protection towards, you know, the people that are less fortunate financially, and that they're not being pollutants in the city, in those areas, hurting people, causing asthma, cancer, different things. So that was a really cool media production.
Yeah, that was fun. Totally different than anything we had ever imagined, but it aligned with our values, which we determined are music, movement,
fun, community, and food.
and health.
So 5 or 6 values there. So everything we do is centered around those values, and we align everything to that to make sure that we are congruent with our vision and everything. So, you know, we're going to wrap it up here because I know we have to get going. These stories can get pretty long, but we want to thank you guys for watching and listening. If you're listening, thank you for downloading. If you're watching, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions about anything, go ahead and comment below, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or just our audio media outlets, whether it's through Spotify or iTunes or anything. But we're going to continue next time. We have 1 or 2 more podcasts with each other, and then we're going to start inviting guests onto the podcast and seeing new people, asking them questions about their startup, and getting cool stories in here. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, so many nuggets of info.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in learning more about startups and the stories that are to come, please stay tuned. We have a lot of cool, interesting things to share with you guys. Lessons we've learned, books we read, things that have helped us, people we've encountered too. It's just like so cool. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
See you guys.